So let's discuss the cricket in the room. Disney Plus has released another live-action movie. Specifically, another live-action remake of a cartoon movie. Today's victim is Pinocchio. And this year, we've already had a nice wave of Pinocchio movies, and there are some more coming. After watching this film, I'm almost convinced that Robert Zemeckis has kind of given up. Or maybe he hasn't given up. Maybe it's one of those one for you, one for me kind of deals where Disney asked him to do a Pinocchio movie in exchange for them funding a project that he wants. And playing the part of Geppetto in this film is Tom Hanks! Tom Hanks, best known for his leading role in Joe versus the Volcano. This is a classic case of Pinocchio we all know very well, based off of the original animated Disney movie, based off of the Italian storybook. Now, aside from looking at the initial trailer of the film, it did look a bit underdone, but I figured that was just a teaser, something that they had to rush to tease us with, but they were going to do some more work to it. And honestly, I was kind of looking forward to this movie because I liked the original animated Pinocchio movie okay, but I didn't love it. See, my love for Disney movies really began during the Renaissance era, pretty much from The Little Mermaid and up. I do recognize, even as a kid, I recognize certain movies are classics and that's why they should be appreciated. But I always was bothered by Pinocchio because, and much like the Italian story, Pinocchio just is a character that gets screwed over and over by every single human he meets. I mean, I guess maybe not Geppetto. Geppetto didn't screw him over, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, hey, Pinocchio, you're alive. Anyways, you're going to school tomorrow on your own. I had a bit of a higher hope for this film because, again, everyone kept screwing over Pinocchio in the story in the animated movie. Like, all the bad guys never received their comeuppance. Yeah, I was hoping in this film they would. But I'll explain what happens in the spoiler part. But right now, let me just give you the breakdown. The movie does make some changes, but for the most part, it's the same. It's Geppetto builds Pinocchio, goes to sleep after wishing upon a star. The blue fairy comes, brings Pinocchio to life, grants Jiminy Cricket the title of conscience, and then on the way to school, Pinocchio... Keep in mind, I'm not really telling you anything too spoilery yet. I'm telling you the plot of the original story and the animated movie. The movie's like over 60 years old, so come on. Pinocchio gets trapped by a traveling amusement show. Pinocchio lies, his nose grows, he gets himself caught. The coachmen take Pinocchio to Pleasure Island, where kids are acting up, but then they turn into donkeys, and then Pinocchio gets the ears and the tail, and then he escapes, and then he finds out that his dad Geppetto has been looking for him, but now he's inside the mouth of Monstro, so he goes to save his dad, and then he seemingly dies. The blue fairy brings him back to life, but as a boy. The end. Simple story. I guess the movie gets the tone about right. Tom Hanks is an okay Geppetto. I mean, you know, for being a non-Italian. I just don't think it was necessary to include Figaro and Cleo. They're CGI'd. Like, if you really wanted to do live action, then at this point you might as well make the animals live action as well. Just, you know, I don't know what to do about Cleo the fish. In the cartoon, she looked like she was always horny. But in this movie, no, we gotta make her CGI so this Cleo fish looks like she's always horny. Before I go into the rant, because most of the rant's going to happen in the spoiler section, the good of the film, I believed that he was fatherly, and I actually liked. This was a good addition to the film. I love the backstory of how Geppetto wanted a son. This was never really explored before, so I liked that change. Pinocchio makes friends with someone that I don't know if it really needed to be added to the story, but I liked the character and I liked the idea they were going with this. Otherwise, the only other thing I liked about it was that it ended. And there were like ridiculous parts too. Geppetto has a lot of clocks in his store. If you look real closely, and I say that sarcastically because you really don't have to look real closely, all the clocks have Disney characters, including, of course, Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit. Because remember, kids, there was once a time where Robert Zemeckis cared. That's mean. Okay, you know what? I guess the other good thing is the voice work of Jiminy Cricket. I hate the design, but Jiminy Cricket is voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Honestly, I did not know that until I had to read it on IMDb. He actually did kind of sound like the original Jiminy Cricket, and just as unfunny. And I was actually impressed with the boy who voiced Pinocchio, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. The voice of Honest John the Fox is actually Keegan-Michael Key. He's not bad, it's just... he just seemed... I don't know, I guess Honest John needed to sound a bit more sinister in a voice. Just a little bit. They have a seagull friend, which I don't think was needed, but it does kind of help a situation or two from like the original. And then there's Luke Evans. He plays the coachman, which is weird. He actually wanted to play this role. It wasn't enough for him to play Gaston in Beauty and the Beast, just like it wasn't enough for Keegan-Michael Key to play in the Lion King movie, but he wanted to play the part of the coachman. Like of all the Disney characters out there, like what was that meeting like? Hi, I'm Luke Evans, and I want to voice a character in your Pinocchio movie. Oh, well, that's great, Mr. Evans. Perhaps you want to play Geppetto, or maybe you want to voice Jiminy Cricket? What character would you like to be? Why, I want to be the guy who traffics the children. Any specific reason why? Why, I just think it would be fun. Okay. Sure. I think at this point I'm going to address the people who have seen the movie, and to the people who haven't seen the movie but really don't care enough to worry about spoilers. So if you do care about spoilers, this is the point where you should just... but come back here. Okay, so the things I really hated about this movie was that it didn't do anything too different. The animals were all CGI'd for no reason. They changed Monstro from a whale to a sea monster. And as far as the Blue Fairy goes, she really didn't do anything. Like, she comes in, she brings the puppet to life, but that's pretty much the extent of her ability. I hated the fact that Pinocchio was able to lose his long nose just by being honest. What does it teach? Yeah, I mean, yes, you could say that, you can only repair yourself by being upfront. That's fine. But then he uses his long nose and keeps lying to extend his nose so he can grab the keys so he can free himself from Stromboli. So what is that supposed to teach us? Is that supposed to say, look, if you get yourself in a lie, the only way out of trouble is to just keep lying? Because that's the message I got. I did like the girl who worked at the traveling show. I thought she was a nice addition, especially since she looks like someone who aspired to be a dancer but was physically not able to because of her leg. She communicates to Pinocchio through a marionette. So Pinocchio only trusts the marionette. And I actually thought that was beautiful. It's like she used the marionette as like a conduit for their friendship. What I didn't like though is that, and I mentioned this with the other folks, is that the bad guys still didn't really get their comeuppance. Like, the only one who really got punished for his crimes was Stromboli, but it wasn't because he kidnapped Pinocchio. It was because he mistreated the employees of his traveling show. And they did it off screen. You didn't see them causing a mutiny against him. It just cuts to him being tossed in a jail cell. So going back to Geppetto of why he created a puppet and why he wanted a boy was because, and I really liked this, they don't really come out and say it, but it's heavily implied that he had a family once, and he had a son who died at a young age as a boy. So he wanted his son back. So the movie kind of made it seem like the wish was more of to have his son back. But instead, the Blue Fairy brought the puppet to life. And I really thought that at the end, Pinocchio would turn back into his actual son, which really was not the case. At least in this version, Geppetto waited a day or two before sending his puppet son off to school. Okay, that's great. He waited a few days, before sending him to school, but walk your son to school. You can't really expect, normally you can't expect people to be just cool with a living marionette walking around, which in this movie, no one really bats an eye too much, except for Honest John. And even then, it's just a walking, talking puppet. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about Pleasure Island. This time, just capture Pinocchio with a net. And Robert Zemeckis, this is my problem. I really feel like this film was unfinished. I feel like they rushed it because everything looked like a cartoon. Aside from the human actors, even the background looked like a cartoon. And I shouldn't even say human actors because not all human actors looked human. There's a moment where the camera pans to the kids and it looks like they were kids from the Polar Express. Ever since Polar Express, I feel like Robert Zemeckis just really relies on that. Of course, Pinocchio meets one of the badass kids. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying this about a kid. I should not be bullying a kid actor, but man, did this Candlewick kid have a punchable face. It was like he was really faking that whole 1940s talk out of the side mouth kind of thing, but or maybe it's because of that he's a good actor. I can't decide. It's just, oh my gosh, this island itself, it doesn't even look that fun. It's just, okay, great, carnivals and lights everywhere, that's it. All right, so in the animated movie, they made it seem like a land to do whatever you want, right? But in this movie, it's like Pinocchio is forced into doing things. Nowadays, you can't really have smoking in movies because that'll piss off the MPAA. So no one's smoking a cigar. And also, they don't drink beer. Pinocchio doesn't get drunk. No, the kids drink root beer. It still looks like beer, but they're drinking root beer. And I guess the sugar hypes them up, and it has the kids smashing windows and stealing, and there's a moment where cuckoo clocks are being destroyed, which that was a good touch because Pinocchio did not want to destroy the cuckoo clocks because he knew cuckoo clocks are a thing that Geppetto loved building. And I just don't like that once again Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket escape this situation, Pinocchio growing the long ears and the tail, and they escape the situation, and it's still horrifying that the kids get turned into donkeys. Oh yeah, they don't say jackass either, they call them jerks, and they're put on the boats, and it's just like the cartoon. The kids never recover. They don't go back to being human. And the bad guy gets away with it. The only thing he doesn't get away with is capturing Pinocchio. And the bad guy has monsters that capture the kids. So we're really adding in the whole supernatural element. The only purpose of having the seagull friend is that she serves as the blue fairy bird from the original movie to inform Pinocchio that Geppetto sold all his clocks to be able to purchase a boat to search for Pinocchio. Now, what really changes is the ending here, because we don't see the blue fairy again. It seems like Geppetto's dead, but Pinocchio brings him back to life with the magic tear. The difference is that Pinocchio seemingly stays Pinocchio at the end. They make peace with the fact that Pinocchio is always going to be a puppet. Well, maybe remains a puppet because at the end they go off into the distance and it's a silhouette, but the silhouette kind of forms like Pinocchio is in the shape of an actual boy, but we never really know because it's the silhouette. Okay, yeah, so pretty much I could not stand this movie. It just seems very lazy. Let's go ahead and bring our non-spoiler friends back. Hey there, non-spoiler friends. Welcome back. We're just going to wrap this up. So basically, the thing is, I did not like this movie. In fact, it just overall sucked. I did not like the experience. I did not really have fun watching it. The few good things I mentioned, the very few. The rest of it is just, oh my gosh, it's just pointless. It was pointless. And I'm glad it actually went directly to Disney Plus because, like Lady and the Tramp, I really feel like we're at a new age where going straight to Disney Plus or going straight to Netflix to me is like going straight to DVD. This movie even has that straight to video Disney sequel. You know, where it just seems like the characters are there, but they didn't really put that much time or effort in the animation. If you were to tell me that they began filming January of this year and released it this month, I would actually believe you. I feel like they were kind of treating it the same way the producers were trying to hatch a plan to bomb their play in the movie The Producers. For a live-action movie, so much was animated. Even the clocks on the wall seemed like they were a cartoon. It just, why? Like, the ending will actually really dumbfound you. It really will. I'm sorry. This movie is actually gonna get a 5 out of 10. Closer to a 6, sure, than it is a 4. It's a 5 out of 10 because this movie was unnecessary and I think it took up too much of everybody's time involved. It's a real nothing of a film. We had the Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
Yeah, the Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie is bad, but at least it's entertainingly bad, not just trying to soak up Disney money bad. And also, this is the one I'm really looking forward to, is the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, because if it's Guillermo del Toro, oh, it's gonna be fun. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am gonna go review my next movie for Anthonix Maximus Reviews, and hope you keep watching. Thank you for being Anthonix Maxiteer. I'm Anthonix Maximus, and keep a lookout for more Anthonix Maximus reviews and more Anthonix Maximus Matinee. Or if you really want to be entertained by a Pinocchio movie, check out AI.
You will always be my real boy.